acceptable, agenda, added to the agenda, set the agenda, agent, agree on something, agree with someone, agreement, alternative. They had no alternative in the matter. Amplify, approval, arbitration, argue, bargain. The management and employees eventually made a bargain. Bargain price, bedrock price, base, on, bottom line. The bottom line is that we cannot raise both salaries and bonuses. Budget, collective, a collective decision. Come up with, commitment, compensate, comply, comply with the regulations, compromise. Negotiations are a two-way thing. Both sides have to come to a compromise. Concession. Both sides involved in the conflict made some concessions in yesterday's talks. Condition, contract, confirm, conflict, confront, consensus, consultation, cooperation, cordially, count on something, counter-proposal. We came with a counter-proposal, but they weren't open to negotiation. Counterattack. Launch a counterattack. Counterproductive. Counterpart. Deadlock. The negotiations reached a deadlock after 2 hours. Deal. Discount. Demand. Depend on. Dismiss. Dispute. Dominate. Eat up a lot of time. Entitle. Explain. Estimate. Underestimate. Facilities. Feasible. Figure out. Flexible. Guarantee. Haggle. Have some reservations about. Highball. They started the negotiation by highballing their expectations, but we saw right through it. Hostility. Impulse. In exchange for. Indecisive. Inevitable. Joint venture. Know-how. Point out. Quote. We accepted his quote. Range. Rebate. Supplier. Supply. Key reason. Leeway. Leverage. He had a lot of leverage because the position was ideal. Lowball. Make a decision. Make sure. Mislead. Misunderstand. Mutual. Negotiable. Nitty-gritty. Objective. Offer. On the condition that. We accept your proposal, on the condition that you order 20,000 units. Persuasive. Point of view. Point. Position. Pressure. Productive. A productive meeting. Proposal. Provided that. Reach a consensus. Reach an agreement. Could we reach a consensus on this matter? Let's take a vote. Receptive. Reciprocate. Recommend. Remind. Renew. Resolution. Resolve. Retain. Room for negotiation. Seek common ground. Solve problems. Suggest. Sum up the main points. Tactics. Take action. Terminate. The initiative. It was evident that they had lost the initiative. Thought. Trade-off. Ultimatum. Unfortunately. unrealistic, up to a point, victory, work out the details, yield, above board, back to square one, back to the wall, beg to disagree, beggars can't be choosers, bend over backwards, bide your time, blank check, bone of contention, break the deadlock, bring nothing to the table, by and large, clinch a deal, drive a hard bargain, give and take, go along with, have an ace up your sleeve, hold all the aces, issue an ultimatum, keep someone posted, last but not least, leave no stone unturned, leave the door open, let's make a deal, meet someone halfway, not in the long run, on the other hand, on the same page, play for your time, play your cards right, prepare the ground, see eye to eye on something, sell ice to Eskimos, sign on dotted line, signed, sealed, and delivered, skating on thin ice, sticking point. As far as we are concerned, the sticking point of this contract is its penalty clauses. Take stock of the situation. Turn up the heat on somebody. Today we are going to talk about. Let's get down to business. Let's begin the discussion with. If you ask me, my opinion, for what it's worth. Why not? In my opinion, my main concern at this stage is. The main point I'd like to emphasize is. One point I'd like to emphasize is that. That's an important point. We need to keep in mind that. Let me repeat that. We'd like to make a proposal that will hopefully benefit both sides. Would you consider? Why don't you? What about if we? Have you considered? What if? Would you be willing to? Would it help if? I think we can accept that. How do you think we should deal with? What do you think is the best way forward? What do you propose? Can you give more specific details about? What can you tell me about? I'm afraid that's out of the question. I'm afraid that we cannot accept your offer because. I'm afraid that those conditions are unacceptable because. Your proposal as it stands is not acceptable. I understand what you're saying, but. I can see what you're saying, but. By and large, I accept your views, but. I'm afraid that's out of the question. If you agreed to. We could reciprocate with. We would be willing to consider that. We would be ready to make a concession on. We have no objection to. On the condition that you, we could be persuaded to consider. Let's compromise. As I understand it, your offer is. If I understand you correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if I understand you correctly, you are proposing. So what you're saying is. Am I right? That's a good point. Okay, I'm happy with that for now. Yes, I'd go along with that. Yes, definitely. I beg to differ with you. For me that is out of the question. Yes, but on the other hand, I'll be in touch again soon with more details. Let's talk next week and see how things are going. The main points that have been made are. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. I think we've reached an agreement on this issue. Let's sum this up.